saying I am gay, saying I cross-dress. How is that fun for me? I get why it is fun for you, though. Shannon Sharpe has dealt with these rumors for years. But when the latest internet storm erupted, NFL legends took notice. Media analysts and guys close to him started speaking up too, and their comments are throwing gas on the fire. Drop a like as we unpack the rumors NFL legends could not ignore. For years, the talk about Sharpe's personal life was buried in obscure corners of the web, Reddit threads, gossip sites, Facebook groups, and whispers in locker rooms. But by 2024 and 2025, the noise got too loud to ignore. Anonymous trolls were no longer the only ones talking. We saw comedians, NFL peers, his own personal stylist, and eventually Sharpe himself all tackling the issue head-on. The drama centered on Sharpe's longtime stylist, Russell Hollywood Mugler. Hollywood, who is openly gay, frequently appeared with Sharpe at games, red carpets, and high-fashion trips to Paris. Their constant proximity, combined with Sharpe being single in his mid-50s, pushed the gossip mill into overdrive. Sharpe shot back directly, clarifying that his stylist orientation did not define his own, and that moving on from him was about loyalty to his former fashion consultant of 20 years. Not trying to silence the rumor mill. But that explanation fell flat. And across football circles, the doubts only intensified. Sharpe built his entire brand on unfiltered honesty. Yet he seemed incredibly defensive regarding his personal affairs. On his show, Club Shay Shay, a simple question about marriage sparked an answer that raised even more eyebrows. Are you married? No, but I am looking. Look, I am nearly 55. I am about to hit double nickels. A 55-year-old Hall of Fame player with 3 kids, openly seeking his first marriage. For some fans, it was a standard, relatable response to the chatter. To critics, it confirmed exactly what they suspected. Sharpe knew the game, though, explaining his decision to stay guarded. I do not do red carpets or post my life on social media. Here is what I have learned. People cannot mess up what they do not know. That strict stance on privacy took on a whole new meaning when the gossip escalated. Then, in 2024, the fire was fed from an unexpected corner. Comedian Mike Epps joked on stage that Sharpe was gay, claiming the host invited him onto Club Shay with questionable intentions. Sharpe fired back hard. He threatened to expose Epps and challenged him to a very public confrontation. But that fierce response only poured fuel on the fire, making the rumors louder. If there was no truth to it, why react so aggressively? Sharpe eventually addressed this on his show, Nightcap, looking visibly exhausted. He sounded like a man completely tired of repeating himself, defending against claims that he was gay or cross-dressed. He asked where the fun was in any of this for him, pointing out that only his detractors were enjoying the drama. They got to laugh and joke about it. But what did he actually gain from it? Then came a massive turning point. Make sure to subscribe to the channel before we reveal what happened next. In September 2024, Sharpe's Instagram account, with nearly 3.2 million followers, accidentally went live. The broadcasted audio was highly explicit, capturing intimate sounds between the host and a woman he called Michelle. Clear recordings of Sharpe were captured, including specific names and descriptions of the act. Initially, Sharpe claimed his social media profile was hacked. He later explained on Nightcap that his phone landed on the bed and accidentally started the stream during the encounter. He apologized directly to his family, his children, and his viewers. To many, this infamous Instagram Live leak seemed like the definitive answer to all those persistent rumors. Cat Williams reportedly joked to Sharpe that he was not gay today. But here is where it gets uncomfortable. Nearly 1 year later, this exact scandal resurfaced under a very different light. Shocking new claims suggested the entire broadcast was staged, and the other person in that room was actually not the woman named Michelle at all. Among legendary NFL veterans, the ongoing silence regarding these heavy rumors spoke absolute volumes. Then came Ray Lewis, who won a championship with Sharpe and received his public support during legal issues in 2000, finally spoke out. Appearing on a podcast in August 2025, Lewis admitted he expected Sharpe's media success but was shocked by the content. He revealed they parted ways because he simply could not follow the media path Sharpe chose to take. To quote him directly, "I am shocked at his content. I would never in a million years believe the things Shannon is saying or doing now. I never thought he would say or do any of this." Like what? Ray Lewis dug deeper, and his comments felt like a direct hit on the rumors surrounding Shannon Sharpe. If you are following this, make sure to subscribe, and that path leads you to become so obsessed with worldliness and popularity that you end up highlighting ignorance, right? We are talking about a former teammate who won a Super Bowl alongside Sharpe, and whom Sharpe fiercely defended during his own dark times back in 2000. Yet by 2025, That very same brother was publicly distancing himself from the media version of Shannon Sharpe we see today. These whispers simply became too loud to block out. It was not just about some leaked tape or a comedian making jokes. Instead, the guys who knew Sharpe best were now choosing, one by one, to cut ties with the Hall of Fame tight end. And what unfolded next proved that even the wildest speculations had only barely scratched the surface of this story. Then came the grooming allegations. In June 2026, the gossip surrounding Sharpe took an incredibly dark and serious turn. It all centered around one person, Royce Styles, a prominent fitness influencer who previously served as the creative director and main cameraman for the hit podcast, Club Shannon. Suddenly, Styles found himself right in the middle of these serious grooming accusations. Things exploded when Styles' former girlfriend reportedly went through his phone, leaking photos to Tasha K. What followed was a massive wave of allegations and bitter callouts. Hit like if you are shocked. This dragged in not just Sharpe, but his whole crew, including Hollywood Moogler. Blogger Tasha K explained exactly how she got her hands on the files. She claimed she had been awake since 6 a.m. talking directly to a young woman in her DM who was incredibly upset about what she discovered inside her boyfriend's phone. That boyfriend was Royce Styles. According to Tasha K, the leaked content showed Styles in a hotel room with both Sharpe and Hollywood Moogler. Sources say the relationship between Sharpe and Hollywood had completely fallen apart long before these files ever went public. And the reason behind it was just as wild as the photos. The two are no longer working together or even speaking. This is because, according to insiders close to the situation, things got ugly. Those same sources claim Hollywood walked in on Sharpe with his replacement, a fresh producer named Jordan Barber. This is where that infamous IG Live leak from September 2024 resurfaced in the headlines. Let us look closely at Tasha K's theory, which completely flipped the narrative. They do not care. They are not going to think about it. You know what I mean? Insiders allege the entire incident was staged, and that it was actually Jordan in the room playing the role of Michelle. Styles' own side of the story, shared by Tasha K, painted a much larger picture. The allegations run deep. It allegedly started back in January 2023 with a direct message from Sharpe's camp offering a guest slot on Club Shannon. The offer supposedly grew to include modeling gigs and promotional work for Nike. Styles claims that Hollywood Moogler was key in setting up and pushing these interactions forward. Styles detailed a pattern, claiming the team targeted 10 or more young male creators just like him. The bait was always identical podcast features, modeling contracts, and massive online exposure. These big promises of career growth allegedly turned into demands for personal favors. These included compromising acts, shirtless modeling, and private hotel shoots in Beverly Hills. But a Las Vegas trip remained the core of the drama. Styles claimed he went out there to shoot promo material for Sharpe's liquor line. He says a hotel party went down with Sharpe, Hollywood, and at least one other person in attendance. The leaked clips allegedly show Styles posing shirtless on a bed with Sharpe and other guys in the room. There were luxury gifts and photo shoots. Tasha K detailed the screen recording sent over by the angry ex-girlfriend. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. To be real with you, I checked my ex-boyfriend's phone and found out that you, him, and Shannon Sharpe were sleeping together. The video clip continued with the ex calling out Hollywood directly over tape she alleges Sharpe filmed himself. I have the receipts. I know about the videos Shannon recorded of him in your Vegas hotel room. Styles denied any physical relationship with Sharpe. Subscribe for more. He insisted he was, in his own words, 100% straight, claiming the leaked media was completely misrepresented online. But that flat-out denial came with a massive asterisk. Styles denied any personal physical involvement, but he described a disturbing grooming pattern targeting young male creators, with Hollywood acting as the main recruiter. Styles did not hold back, calling out the exact relationship between the former NFL star Sharpe and Hollywood. He claimed the two behaved like lovers, pointing to how close they always were behind the scenes, and the suspicious dynamics he witnessed firsthand, though he never saw actual physical contact. Still, he called the Hall of Famer a groomer. Now, those leaked photos, according to blogger Tasha K, showed Hollywood wearing a blue hat. We are talking about all three men in an elevator, plus solo pictures inside that hotel bathroom. Tasha K did not mince words about the evidence, even while admitting the raw footage had to be heavily censored for YouTube. She kept describing the leaked images live, asking viewers, is he sitting on the bed? Is that Shannon? It really looks like him. But despite the heat, Sharpe himself never publicly addressed these bombshell allegations from Styles in any real detail. Rumors suggest Shannon funded the entire getaway, putting everyone in the exact same suite alongside Hollywood. And honestly, how could he? Hit subscribe as we track this case. This grooming scandal was not Sharpe's first run-in with serious accusations, and the legal battle before this had already nearly ruined him. We are talking about a $50 million lawsuit. On April 20th, 2025, the narrative surrounding Shannon Sharpe flipped completely. A major civil lawsuit hit the court in Clark County, Nevada, filed by an anonymous Jane Doe, demanding $50 million for alleged sexual assault, rape, battery, sexual battery, and causing severe emotional distress. The plaintiff was later identified as Gabriela Zuniga, an OnlyFans creator who was only 19 or 20 when she met Sharpe in 2023. The Breakfast Club broke down the shocking details. If you are new here, subscribe for more daily NFL updates. So, Shannon Sharpe is facing allegations of sexual assault and rape from a young woman who is now in her early 20s. They apparently met at an LA gym in 2023, when Sharpe was 53 or 54 years old. Zuniga was only 19. The lawsuit claims Sharpe watched her work out before approaching, and she had no idea he was an NFL legend. He pursued her with heavy texts, calls, and targeted gym encounters. He eventually invited her over, allegedly pressuring her to sign an NDA, which she repeatedly refused before anything physical happened. Reporter Lauren LaRosa laid out the terrifying details of the alleged abuse. As he gained more control, he allegedly became highly aggressive, leaving her feeling trapped in the situation. She claims he was incredibly manipulative, threatening to choke and slap her. While the relationship started consensually, it quickly became dangerously volatile. Sharpe's constant cheating, including that infamous Instagram Live sex audio leak in September 2024, heavily escalated tensions. According to the lawsuit, the final breaking point arrived after that leak. Realizing they were not exclusive, Zuniga ended the relationship. He did not take the breakup well. The worst parts of the suit allege 2 separate assaults in October 2024 and January 2025. According to court documents, Sharpe completely ignored her refusals, forcing himself on her while she cried and begged him to stop. He then allegedly made a terrifying threat. The complaint alleges he warned her, saying he would straight up kill her if she ever crossed him like that again. In the most graphic details of the assault, she claims he forced her into non-consensual acts twice. Secretly filming her was another massive piece of this lawsuit. Zuniga claims Sharpe recorded their intimate moments without her consent, brushing it off by saying the videos were just for his personal collection. Even worse, she alleges he passed those sensitive recordings around to his close friends. Sharpe fired back fast, mounting an aggressive defense with power attorney Lanny Davis. He denied everything, calling the lawsuit a cheap, tactical shakedown designed to extort millions from his career. His legal team publicly unmasked Zuniga and leaked explicit text messages to show their relationship was consensual. Sharpe even dropped a personal video response just hours after the initial court filing went live. He looked at the camera, saying, "To my family, friends, and fans, I am speaking from the heart." This is a shakedown. He went on the offensive, targeting the lawyer behind the lawsuit and framing it as pure extortion. He pointed fingers directly at Tony Busby, claiming the high-profile lawyer deliberately targets successful black men like Jay-Z. The graphic text messages released by Sharpe's defense team as proof of consent were absolutely jarring. One text from October 7th, 2023, linked to Zuniga, openly referenced a dog collar and choking. Another from January 1st, 2025, tied cash values to intimate acts. The legal playbook was clear. Frame this as a wild, consensual relationship that turned into extortion. But high-profile attorney Tony Busby hit back. Talking directly to reporter Lauren LaRosa, Busby called Sharpe a flat-out liar. He claimed the key video was shown in mediation, but Sharpe personally refused to watch the whole tape. As Busby tells it, Sharpe preferred offering a massive payout instead. LaRosa later reported that Sharpe's defense team strongly fired back, insisting their client was blocked from viewing the complete footage, and the clip they did see was heavily edited. This war of words exploded after TMZ Sports leaked audio of Sharpe and his accuser. Hit like if you are following. On that tape, a voice sounding like Sharpe explicitly used the word choke when talking to her. Even Stephen A. Smith, the ESPN star who handpicked Sharpe for First Take, had to address this on air. "I know and can tell you all that I spoke with Shannon, not in full detail, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically maintains his innocence." But even Stephen A. Smith had to deliver the kicker. According to Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. In the end, this battle bypassed the courtroom. Following months of intense legal huddles, they settled the matter around July 18th, 2025, with Busby posting on X that the lawsuit was officially dismissed with prejudice, closing the case. Both parties finally admitted the relationship was long, mutual, and incredibly volatile. Financial details were kept quiet, but reports suggest a payout topping $10 million after an earlier $10 million offer fell flat. Right after they settled, Zuniga retired from OnlyFans, thanking her followers in a deleted post. But the career damage was already done. Sharpe had stepped away from ESPN in late April 2025 to fight the lawsuit. By July 30th, just days after settling, the network cut him loose completely. $6.5 million a year, completely gone. A massive $100 million podcast deal in the works with the Volume also collapsed as his contract ended. Sharpe addressed it on Nightcap with a heavy tone. Subscribe to our channel as we analyze his next moves. I am sure everyone has heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I actually found out a little earlier this week. The lawsuit cost him his prime TV spot, a massive contract, and a devastating blow to his legacy. But the absolute worst part of this entire ordeal was not what the initial lawsuit revealed. It was the dark history that surfaced next. Older allegations and familiar patterns emerged, leaving fans to wonder if this was actually his first offense. Let us look at the deeper pattern here. Within 48 hours of Zuniga filing, we learned this was not the first time Sharpe had faced sexual misconduct accusations. Past accusations and quiet payouts began dominating the headlines, painting a dark picture of his past that the Zuniga lawsuit alone never could. The oldest allegations trace back to September 2010 from Michaela Bundy Evans, right when Sharpe was working as an NFL analyst for CBS Sport. Evans was his former girlfriend of almost 10 years, and she filed for protection, claiming Sharpe sexually assaulted and raped her after a heated argument. She described a non-consensual, forced encounter. And the details only got worse from there. Evans claimed Sharpe threatened to destroy her entire life if she spoke. While a judge quickly granted the restraining order, she suddenly withdrew the request soon after, reportedly fearing for her child's safety, after an angry individual showed up at her front door screaming threats. Sharpe took a temporary leave of absence from CBS back then. It did not derail his career. The media moved on once the charges dropped, but Evans was far from finished. In 2023, she hit Sharpe with a $4 million defamation lawsuit in New York, claiming he dragged her name through the mud by talking trash about her on public platforms. Sharpe's lawyers completely dismissed the claims, calling them absolutely ridiculous and entirely meritless. With that lawsuit still pending in 2025 and the Zuniga scandal dominating sports news, Evans stepped forward again, reminding everyone how terrified she was for her life. Her story, quiet for 15 long years, suddenly carried a weight that could not be ignored. Then the second report surfaced, this one pointing straight to his days at Fox. A front office sports investigation from April 2025, during his run co-hosting Undisputed on FS1 alongside Skip Bayless, accused him of choking a female production assistant. Two sources with direct knowledge of the matter detailed this alleged physical altercation. One source reported that Fox and Sharpe settled with her for several $100,000. No lawsuit was ever filed, as things were settled privately. But Sharpe's camp pushed back. They denied any workplace choking on the FS1 set, calling it just a single playful, light interaction between two coworkers. Still, the timing of this report, hitting right during the Zuniga scandal, was absolutely devastating. On air, DJ Vlad broke down the fast-moving situation in a discussion with rapper Mayo. He allegedly choked a female staffer while at Fox, resulting in a settlement worth several $100,000. The host continued, carefully separating verified facts from unproven rumors. Yes, they did. Look, multiple reports state that before joining ESPN, he co-hosted Undisputed over on FS1. Let's break down the board together. We have three distinct crises. Starting with a 2010 case and a defamation suit, the alleged choking of that Fox production assistant that was quietly settled, and the explosive Zuniga lawsuit detailing multiple sexual assaults, secret tapes, and death threats. But it did not stop there. Reports during the 2025 fallout revealed that Sharpe had faced dozens of legal complaints over the years, settling most of them. In fact, 23 out of 24 cases reportedly ended in settlements. While the details of those files remain sealed, the sheer volume tells a massive story. What made this pattern impossible to ignore were his own on-camera statements. Old clips from Nightcap discussing his romantic preferences began making the rounds in mid-2025. In one video, he claimed that older women were not the competition, arguing instead that young girls will do whatever an older man demands. Critics slammed the remarks as predatory, and the massive age gap in the Zuniga case made the clip look incredibly bad. He was in his mid-50s. She was just 19 when they met. From our view, that math looks deliberate. Lauren LaRosa on The Breakfast Club voiced what many were thinking, saying she had no idea why a 54-year-old is dating a 19 or 20-year-old. She went on, "I know you all like to brag about smashing these young girls, but that is not a flex." She took it further, calling this entire pattern a serious discipline issue and not just a legal problem, noting that at 54 years old, a man should be home, taking his medication, and minding his business. We need discipline and real stability. That infamous IG Live incident from September 2024 fit the narrative perfectly, occurring while he was allegedly seeing Zuniga. The viral leaked audio actually featured another woman named Michelle. The lawsuit claims this blatant infidelity was the exact spark that destroyed their entire relationship. And as the public began connecting all these dots, the people who once stood right next to him on NFL sidelines and TV sets faced a tough choice: either stand by their guy or walk away. How these NFL legends responded would tell us everything. It was their turn. As the dust finally started to settle following that July 2025 agreement, the big question of who would support Shannon Sharpe and who would distance themselves defined his entire year. You and I are seeing the answers come directly from his former peers, who built their careers in the sports media. The answers were not what Sharpe wanted to hear, and Ray Lewis was first. His former Baltimore Ravens teammate, who won Super Bowl 35 alongside Sharpe in the year 2000, broke his silence in August 2025. The timing was crucial. This statement dropped right after the legal settlement and Sharpe's ESPN exit, giving his words massive weight. Lewis went on the PBD podcast and did not hold back, addressing what Sharpe has become in the media before making it deeply personal. He said, "I kind of started to watch him, and then we went our separate ways because I was like, you are taking that route. I cannot go that route." Lewis went even further, detailing the high price of choosing that specific path. He explained that this route makes you worldly and popular just because you are constantly talking about ignorance. All those gossip-filled conversations they have in public made Lewis's decision to distance himself sting even worse. Back in 2000, when Lewis faced his own high-profile double murder case in Atlanta, Sharpe publicly defended Lewis ahead of the Super Bowl, taking the heat from the media and backing his character. For 25 years, that loyalty ran in only one direction, and now, when it was time for that loyalty to be returned, complete silence. Lewis started talking about respecting women, distancing himself from Sharpe's videos, and drawing a line between being popular versus actually having real influence. He never mentioned Sharpe by name with those allegations. Honestly, he did not have to. Enter Green Bay legend Brett Favre. The Packers icon had serious history with Sharpe, and it was ugly. Back in 2022 on Undisputed, Sharpe blasted Favre over that Mississippi welfare scandal, calling him out for taking federal welfare money meant for a volleyball gym tied to his family. Favre denied it all and hit Sharpe with a defamation lawsuit in 2023. A federal court in Mississippi threw the entire lawsuit out in 2024, and the United States Court of Appeals officially upheld that dismissal in September of 2024. On paper, Sharpe won, but the legal battle resurfaced during his 2025 scandals. Analysts saw the Favre feud as proof that Sharpe's aggressive style made enemies out of the exact gridiron legends he needed in his corner. Even Cam Newton, another target of Sharpe's on-air critiques, chose his words very carefully. Posting a video online, Newton called Sharpe a friend, a mentor, and a trusted advisor, but heavily emphasized the gravity of the allegations. He stayed neutral on guilt, focusing instead on respecting accusers. It was a carefully balanced statement. But as you and I know, that balance tells the real story. Newton did not rush to defend him, nor did he downplay those serious allegations. For a guy Sharpe actively mentored, keeping quiet on his innocence spoke absolute volumes. That was the brutal reality delivered not by rivals, but by his closest peers. Sure, the Hall of Fame bust remains in Canton, his legendary records are still standing, but that legacy, built on 3 Super Bowls, 10,000 receiving yards, 62 touchdowns, and a $6.5 million media career, will never be spoken of without this controversy. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more of our analysis.